feel frustrated, um, honestly, with myself because I spent so much time over the last couple weeks just focusing on the half that I hate right now, like the half of the country that I despise.
Oh my God.
All right, let's get into this Angela Rye video.
For weeks just focusing on
And for those that watch the show regularly, y'all know who Angela Rye is. For those that don't, she contributes to a lot of different, I guess she's political strategist, political analyst. I'm not sure exactly what you would call it. She's the person, one of the people that Charlemagne and DJ Envy and the Breakfast Club reach out to have come on the show when they are interviewing somebody in politics, whether it's like a Byron Donalds or whether it's a Jill Stein. She's the person, one of the people that will come on and be the fighting Democrat or fighting whatever she calls herself, that will kind of push back against their talking points because she's just more in tune with what's going on the political scene. But I can't even say that. To me, Charlemagne may be the one. Maybe she needs to start listening to Charlemagne. Maybe she should take advice from him, especially post-election. And as we get into this video, maybe y'all will see exactly why I'm saying that. All right, let's start it.
very emotional.
And let me know, make sure, let me know if y'all can hear it. Okay.
I feel the obligation. I feel frustrated, honestly, with myself because I spent so much time over the last couple weeks just focusing on the half that I hate right now, like the half of the country that I despise. And I'm frustrated about that because
I said on the last show, it is not like I'm just picking out videos of Black women to target Black women. It's not as if I'm just picking out videos of women to target women. One of the things that I've noticed after Donald Trump won the election is that people are really starting to show who they were, especially on the Democrat liberal side. People have been crashing out. People have been losing their mind, no accountability, still super delusional, out of touch, whether it's Barack Obama giving a speech or whether it's Angela Rye, it doesn't matter. Whether it's Joy Reid, whether it's Rachel Maddow, these people have lost their minds. They've lost their minds. And this is what we mean when we talk about people being super emotional. And going back to what Dr. Umar Johnson said when he made the statement that we showed on the video last week, which was you cannot solve political problems with emotions. You cannot use emotions to solve political problems. A lot of these people that we're seeing crash out like an Angela Rye, we're seeing how being overly emotional maybe leads to obviously what we're seeing right now, crying on YouTube over Donald Trump winning, saying that you hate half the country. That's the type of mindset. So think about it. Even if your candidate won, would that be the type of person that we want on the winning side of things? When we see Angela Rye come out and say that she hates half the country simply for voting for Donald Trump. And you know what I think is happening? And this is going to come up in the conversation when we review Donald Trump's speech. What I think is happening is that there's a lot of Democrats that all came together, all voted for Kamala Harris. And a lot of it was just because of their hatred and fear for Donald Trump. What's happening now is there are a lot of people that thought that they hated Donald Trump, maybe still do hate Donald Trump, but they're starting to see a lot of the things that are happening. They saw his interview that he did with Meet the Press. And I think what we always said was going to happen and what we always kind of thought was already in the process of happening, and maybe that's why Donald Trump won the election, is there's a lot of people that are not buying into the Donald Trump being crazy, Donald Trump, the Donald Trump delusion. What is it called? They call it Donald Trump delusion syndrome or whatever it is, derangement syndrome. There's a lot of people that were buying into that. And what I'm seeing is a lot of these moderate Democrats who voted on the same, obviously voted for the same person as a lot of the radical Democrats, as a lot of the radical liberals. They voted for the same person, but they're realizing that they are a part of a group where they're looking at it like, damn, that person may have voted. We may have voted for the same cause or voted for the same person, but the fact how extreme you are is making me not only look at you a different type of way, but maybe be open to looking at Donald Trump and what he's looking to do a different type of way. Whether it's Joe Biden pardoning Hunter Biden, and then feeling like all the Democrats got to make an excuse for Joe Biden after he said nonstop, I'm not going to pardon Hunter Biden. We respect the justice system, my Department of Justice, and nobody's above the law. Then they got to scramble and figure out a way to justify and make sense of Joe Biden pardoning Hunter Biden. So they start throwing Donald Trump in, and people are starting to see like, damn, the people that I'm on the team with, they actually are pretty radical. They actually will not look in the mirror. They will not take accountability. They do actually feel a little bit of a different way than I feel. There's a difference between Democrats that voted for Kamala Harris and were disappointed that obviously the candidate that they voted for lost. There's a difference between those people that are just still approaching it from a sensible standpoint, that are actually looking from an objective standpoint and saying, well, damn, Donald Trump, he hasn't even been in office, and we are starting to see some positive things come. We are starting to actually see the person that was supposed to be the divisive one actually bringing a lot of people together. He was doing it before the election when he brought RFK Jr., when he brought Tulsi Gabbard, when he even united some of the Republicans that he was running against, and a Vivek Ramaswamy, who was running against him for president, just like RFK Jr. So when you see Donald Trump actually bringing a lot of these people together, where he's got Jeff Bezos, he's got a dinner scheduled with him, Mark Zuckerberg. These are people that hated Donald Trump. You see Morning Joe going down there to kiss the ring. A lot of these people that convinced a lot of the people that are liberal and voting for Kamala Harris, that convinced y'all that Donald Trump was the worst person since Hitler, they're starting to show their true colors. They're starting to show, well, actually, he's not that bad. But then you see the people like Angela Rye that are completely crashing out. Why are you crying over politics? What are you crying about? You should not have an allegiance to a particular party one way or another to be crying over it. And then what's so mind-boggling is the fact that these are the very people that complain about the system, whether that's from a Democratic standpoint or a Republican standpoint. There's people that complain about the system. Angela Rye complains about the system. Angela Rye will complain about the Democrats as well. The system, the establishment, the one that has been oppressive to Black people for so long, right? That same system. Let's ask ourselves a real question. Which candidate in recent history has shown that they are willing to talk against and maybe take action against the system? Who's actually putting people in the cabinet who this system that we claim has been racist and oppressive for so long? Who's actually putting the people in position to go against those organizations, to go to take care of the FBI, to take care of the CIA? Bring somebody new in there to break down that education system, that board of education that is not serving our kids. It's Donald Trump. So what are you crying for? You're crying because Kamala Harris didn't win? And now you hate half the country? Like, is this... like I said before, and I think Uncle Brother was right. Whether they're creating the Democrats and people like Angela Rye, they don't even realize how much they are helping people, or they're causing people to be more and more open to Donald Trump. Maybe not to the Republican Party, but being more open to Donald Trump. And by open, I don't mean that you're saying like, oh, maybe Donald Trump's a nice guy. No, you're at least sitting there, hey, let's just, be patient. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. He said he wants to do some good things. He says he wants to unite the country. He said he wants to treat the people that did not vote for him just as good as he wants to treat the people that are the most extreme MAGA supporters. He's saying all the right things. He's saying that he doesn't want to go after Joe Biden and go after his political opponents. He's saying that the only redemption that he needs is being successful. We've talked about it a lot of times on this show. Donald Trump, whether for selfish reasons or for righteous reasons, I don't know. But Donald Trump realizes that he has the opportunity to make a significant change and be regarded as one of the most important politicians in American history and maybe world history. And he knows that he can do it by simply ending the war with Ukraine and Russia, ending the war that's going on between Palestine and Israel, create some maybe Abraham Accords, some type of peace treaties in that Middle East region, and improve the economy here, get rid of inflation, and address the border. If he does those things, he will go down as one of the most important politicians in the history of America and perhaps world history. But let's get back to Angela Rye, because for whatever reason, she still feels the need to hate half the country, and got co-hosts listening that are probably co-hosts on the show with her that are probably not going to offer any pushback, or probably just going to be a pillow for her to, lay her head on, her grieving head on. And to me, it's not helping her at all. She looks crazy.
Honestly, with myself, because I spent so much time over the last couple weeks just focusing on the half that I hate right now, like the half of the country that I despise.
Mm.
And I'm frustrated about that, because you don't get understanding through frustration and hate.
Mm.
And I think that what I feel guilty about is knowing that there's an obligation to a whole other half, of the country, and feeling like there has to be a conversation, a come to Jesus, as they say, with so many people, because we are really not on the same.
Let me ask y'all a question. I was going to avoid going this way, but I just can't. There's certain things that I just refuse to avoid. Let me ask y'all a question. If this was a man crying like this, I don't think the man would think that it's acceptable, right? Maybe I don't know. Maybe these new I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Van Jones, and even Van Jones, if he was behaving how she was behaving, I think he would feel even uncomfortable about that, or at least us looking at it. Why is there an excuse, or why do we feel that most, and maybe I should ask the question, do you think that she's getting a pass for a lot of this because she's a woman? And then my question would be, why is she getting a pass? Is it because women are more emotional beings? Is it because women make decisions more emotionally compared to men making them more logically? Not to say that one is better than the other, but just to maybe just examine a difference, or to just state a difference. Is this doing a disservice or a service to all the people that Barack Obama came out and said, well, there's some people, a lot of y'all black men just don't want to vote for a woman because she's a woman? I'm just asking a question. Is this a good look? Like, we like to act as if men and women are the same when it's convenient. But then when we give excuses, and when we hold people accountable, then we change that up based on it being a man or a woman. So I'm just trying to figure it out. If women are more emotional, is it okay to say, hey, maybe I would rather a man be in office who may be a little bit less emotional, or maybe is going to be held to a more logical standard compared to a woman. I told y'all before, I shifted. I don't need to lead and say I'd prefer a man. I don't need to lead and say that. I'm just going to lead and say I prefer the best candidate as far as the things, personality, demeanor, energy, communication style, all these different things, leadership skills. I'll just say that, and then let's see who that ends up being. But I just wanted to ask that question, because it's something that, as I'm watching this, there's no way that I would, as a man, feel comfortable doing what she's doing right now.
Same page. And I am at a loss at this point for how to get there. And so I think you guys know I'm fiercely competitive over all kinds of ridiculous things. But what I really don't like to do is I don't mind saying I don't know. I don't mind admitting I don't know. I hate not knowing for an extended period of time. And
I'm gonna call BS on that, because especially for the people that watch this show regularly, we've reviewed her videos. You do mind saying that you don't know. You do mind admitting when you're wrong. You've been caught dead wrong in interviews that we've seen, whether it's Jill Stein or I'm forgetting off the top of my head, maybe Byron. You've been caught dead wrong and will not admit it. Maybe you should start admitting when you're wrong and acknowledging these things, and maybe you won't end up in a position where you are right now with all this hatred in your heart because you think that you're the smartest person in the world, and anybody that voted for Trump, oh my God, like they're just the worst people in the world. I hate them. To come out and say, to be crying and to say, I hate half the country. Who would want anybody like that in a leadership role? Who would want anybody like that giving any type of political strategy to a candidate that we want to run the country?
feeling like the overwhelm of I don't know where to turn to find the answer, right? Like, I don't even know if at this point people will be honest about their reasons for voting for the other side, or if they'll be honest about who they really voted for, because they probably know us or have seen us and wouldn't feel comfortable telling us the truth. So where do you go to solve an I don't know when you're not even confident that people will be honest with you?
What a shame. What a shame. Where you go is you go internally. Figure out what you need to do internally is why you're crashing out on the internet, crying and telling half the country that you hate them. That's an internal battle. And then maybe you get out of your bubble, that same bubble that you live in, that only has people in it that think how you think. Maybe you step outside of that and be more open to conversations and be more open to the fact like, hey, although I feel that this is the approach that we should be taking, although I feel that this is the mindset that we should have, instead of looking at everybody else as if they're crazy because they don't share that same perspective, maybe being open to what they're saying, maybe listening to what the people are saying. There's no way that, like, damn, did you even prep yourself for what was happening with this election? Like, the delusion to not even be prepared to think, like, even if you were rooting for Kamala Harris, you had to feel the energy. We talked about it all the time on this show, that it was very likely that Donald Trump would win. You had to feel that. So now you it's like, damn, you didn't even, like, how delusional were you? Like, you didn't even like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you kind of should have been, kind of prepping yourself a little bit, expecting, thinking about, okay, what happens if Donald Trump does win? She's acting like the world is over. Imagine the people that she has influence over. Imagine somebody that's looking up to her as a role model, that's looking up to her for guidance, for pointers, who holds her in high regards. Now they see her crashing out. What is that person going to do? They're going to be crashing out, thinking it's okay to hate half the people at their school, to hate half of their family that voted for Trump, to hate people that are on their job that voted for Trump. They're going to rationalize it based on the people that they look up to. They're saying that it's okay. So it's to me, it's very like sore loserish. It's corny in my opinion. But this is where we are with a lot of this. All right, so we're gonna move on. I want to take a look at which way should we go? Let's actually go. We're gonna look at this Donald Trump interview. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon.